worked out very. One of the things that you just said to Ryan's credit is I often say that some of the most important conversations that you can have are in a golf cart.
So true.
That's where you have all the difficult conversations. That's where a lot of my coaching from Gus Jones happened. And I and I'm sure Ryan just rolled in one day and he said, "Hey, James, can we go for a cart ride?"
Exactly.
And
now at Tacoma, we go for a walk. We don't ride too many carts here, but yes, agreed.
Yeah, but it's amazing how, because again, you go out in that area and there's fresh air and you usually have a great view, especially at Snoqualmie Ridge, and and you can have that conversation just in the open air as opposed to a lot different than in your office. As nice 100%. As your office is, it's a lot different. It relaxes the other person. So I always think that's something I've always recommended. Like, that's where the best conversations happen. So you're at Snoqualmie Ridge, and I met you then. That's when you kind of came into my world in terms of my getting to know you. You hired Caleb, as your head golf professional, and
what a great golf professional. Yeah,
and you had some great people that came there. The Cole Clearman, Kyle Clearman,
Nick Carlson,
and you're
talk about that
to this day. Very cool.
I was just so blessed. I mean, Alex Rothstein.
Yeah, I don't know him as well, but the other three.
So I went up to Washington. Next thing you know, I got phone calls from Nick Carlson, one of my good high school friends, right? So I've known him for a long time. He's like, I want to come up there. And so it was like a package deal. Let's go. So he was coming. And then Alex Rothstein, 6 months later, is down in Carlsbad. He's like, I'm ready to go to Washington. Let's go. So he moved up with me too. It was just a friend's Thanksgiving. I mean, it was awesome. And then we hired Cole, joined the team. Kyle joined the team. Cole and Kyle Clearman, amazing professionals themselves. Totally. Two different mindsets a little bit, but you can totally tell they came from the same family in a lot of ways. But yeah, it was we had an amazing run there at Snoqualmie Ridge. It was a lot of fun and great membership and hosting the Boeing Classics and learning a lot there. I mean, if you have the opportunity to host a championship, do it. And as I say, very fortunate to, Nicole works here at Tacoma Country and Golf Club. She just won Assistant Golf Professional of the Year. And we've had many conversations about, her future and what that all looks like. And one of those things is like, hang in there for this. We're going to host the Senior Women's Open in 27. And it's like, having that on your resume is such a unique thing. You just put yourself in the, 5%ers of people in our industry that have hosted championships. And so I've been fortunate to do that a good amount in my career, and you learn a lot.
That's probably one of the things you're least, that's on the top, top of the list of leaving, besides all the team that's at Tacoma. But just to not be there for the 27 championship like that. Have you done all that legwork? You've gone and visited other host facilities during the event. You're going to have to figure out a way to get time off so you can come back up.
Well, that was God love Brett Eaton. I mean, amazing golf professional too. Very fortunate to work alongside him. I mean, just a rock star of a golf professional. When I told him it was a bummer, he and I have a great relationship. My whole team, it was a bummer to have that conversation of me leaving, but it's one of the worst days. It really was. But I mean, I'm excited for the next chapter. But Brett was great. He looked at me. He goes, "You're coming back to volunteer, right?" And I'm like, well put. I like that. I'm in. I'm game for that one.
Yeah, so he might put you in front of put you in charge of a committee.
He will. Like, I'm sure he will. Yeah, I'm sure he will. So it'll be good in the long run. And but yes, that's one thing I'm bummed to kind of walk away from. And but the team's ready. The team's primed. We got an amazing superintendent here in Joel Kachemarek, and Reece. We just had Reece Johnson join us. His dad's the super over at Chambers, and he's been a great addition to the club here. And just absolutely think the future's really bright, and we're excited to host the championship.
That's good to hear, because I know that Joel's number 2 guy, Rich, was very instrumental for a long time. Well, and I know he's moved on to he probably could have had a different job a lot sooner, but he loved Tacoma and loved working with Joel so much. I'm sure he waited for just the right one. So it's cool to hear that. I hadn't actually heard a name, so I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, Reece Johnson, awesome upcoming superintendent. He was at Sandpoint for some time. Came down south here, just had a baby. So congratulations to him. And it's great. And him and Joel together are great. And it's nothing against Rich. Rich was amazing. It's just exciting for the next chapter, what that looks like. And
always
with Brett and Joel together, they're gonna put on a heck of a show. And I'm excited for Washington Open this year. That's the other one I'm missing. So the 100th Washington Open is going to be at TCGC. I unfortunately will not be here, which I was really looking forward to. But it should be a great show, and golf course is going to be primed. And Joel, he gets up for this stuff. He was planning after last year's. The minute it was over, it was like, all right, let's get planning, and it'll be a nice warm up for the team for championship golf this year for that, and then warm up for 27 of the Women's Open. So it'll be.
The thing with Joel, I would say that I remember this is well before you were still at La Costa when I met him, but I saw what he was doing with the T-ways and coming from an agronomic 2 years of doing that as a greenskeeper myself. I just geeked out about it. I was like, this is amazing. Why did you do this? And he told me all the reasons to do it that had nothing to do with how it looked.
100%
efficiency and about playability and consistency of conditioning, and also limiting wear and tear on equipment. And it was just brilliant. And I was just like, kudos. So that's when I started watching his, checking out his blog, which he hasn't kept up so well. But at the time, it was amazing just to see all the projects. It was great.
Twitter, follow him on Twitter. It's amazing. That's something I love learning something from everybody that I've been fortunate to work with, and something I'll take away from Joel is he really thinks about something all the way down to the simplistic form of what it can be. Like it's so easy for us to think of something at the top level, but to really continue to break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down to get to the very basic simplicity of what you're trying to achieve is hard. And he does that all the time. And that's a great example. Like the T-ways, it looked cool, but he took it even further. It was, why do I want to do that? I want to be more efficient. I want to be better on the equipment. I don't want to lift the equipment up and down because that's how hydraulically happens, right?
Yeah. I want to put 45 man hours somewhere else.
Yep. And
so it shows.
And he's constantly thinking that way. And I hope I took even 20% of that and now apply that in future life of employment. It would be great. So
I think his other thing that I've always been sort of noticing this, but you see, if he sees a collar dam, it's done. It's taken care of. And if I was to say what the weakness that you see on most superintendents is, they have collar dams and they seem okay with it. Whereas Joel is like, in his typical way, sort of almost like Murph, but in his own Murph style, it's two guys, two flat shovels and a sod cutter, and you can get rid of that thing in a few hours, and then put the sod back, and in 3 or 4 weeks, it's dialed.
Perfect.
And you never know it was there, and so there's no excuse.
None.
No excuse. And I just actually really like that. In some ways, it's almost like a football coach. It's like, just do your job, kind of that's sort of a statement. And so that's really cool. So in the remaining time we have, you mentioned people at Snoqualmie Ridge, who are some of the people that you've felt have been very instrumental? Brett, obviously, one of the things I would say this is I remember I utilized our conversation when you were calling me about interviewing for Tacoma. I remember the conversation a lot, and I've actually repeated parts of our conversation, especially the things you said, to other people who are candidates. And one of the things you said to me that I repeat a lot is, I really believe it's best for me to say what I believe and say my vision is about this particular job. And I'm just going to, I now know you sort of crystallized and you're like, I'm going to say what I believe. And if they don't want that, I don't really want to work there then.
Yeah. I think that was a young, cocky me, but yes.
I think what it gave you, and this is the reason why I repeat it often, is that it gave you this sort of freedom to just be yourself, where you're kind of like, it's okay if they don't want what I bring to the table, then I'm happy to stay at Snoqualmie Ridge. And there's no pressure, so I'm not going to try to tell them what they want to hear. I'm going to say what I truly believe, and it gave you an exceptional power to the point where somebody on the committee called me and they said to me, and I quote, they said, "Did you give James the answers to the questions?" And I said, "How would I do that? I didn't know what the questions were. How would I give him the answers?" And you knew your answers, and because you were just saying what you believed. It was really powerful, and I'll never forget that.
It was, thank you. To be honest with you, at the time, it was just me trying to just build my own confidence going into an interview. I look at it now and I would totally agree with it. And you have to be who you are. And because there's only so much time that you can continue to have the same conversation and try to remember how to repeat what they want. And so I'm just not that smart. And so I figured, okay, I'm just going to go in this and be me, and they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And if they love it, then great. I can be me the whole time, and it won't be any surprise, and life will be great. That was even the other hard one that's hard, especially when you get into equity clubs, is sometimes you can be persuaded to change. And I told myself and an assistant that I work with, it's just talking about another amazing mentor, and they come in all ages. And I mean, it's just amazing. Sure. So Jan Carter-Denman works here at the club, and Jan has been absolutely an amazing person for me. She's been in this industry a long time. She'd hate me to give how many years she's been here, but she is Tacoma Country and Golf Club.
You might be hearing you right now. You're trying to be careful.
Yeah, I am being careful. But I told her, I said, I'm going to be me. And if they don't like it, they can fire me. And that is what it is. And I'm going to ethically do what I believe is right and stand up for what I believe is right. And if they don't like it, yes, I might piss some people off in the short term, but in the long run, I can at least walk out of here head high knowing I did what I think is right. And she's been great. She helped remind me of that at times, like it's what you believe in, and you got to have those people in your life, and she's been amazing to me and help me hold to those standards. And I think that's what allowed us to be really successful here at Tacoma too, is that we just come in every day and try to do what's right, and if we continue to do what's right, it's all going to add up at the end of the day, and it's going to be an amazing product, and our members are going to want to be a part of it, and the team's going to want to be a part of it. People are going to want to work in that environment. And it works out.
I think another thing that I would say that I recognize is, I was part of your interview, and you were considered, I heard after the fact, you were kind of a dark horse in the finals and at Tacoma, and you just came in and you just blew them away to the point where they were like, how do we ever have this guy as a dark horse? That's what I heard. And I was just like, okay, great. And you started May 1st of 2020. What a crazy time to start.
Empty hallways.
Yeah.
Coming to a club.
Now, but sort of ideal, but you sort of figure out how are we going to pay for this?
Oh. Even how does it even work? I mean, yeah. I never saw pre-COVID how the club ran.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure out all the F&B stuff on the fly, like food and beverage drop, like all of a sudden now you got people there's no more in-person dining, but you're still getting orders from everybody. Right, and all that stuff. So then you brought in PGA Executive Search, and I got to be part of that to hire Brett, and that was an awesome experience. We'll never forget Brett's final interview with the Argyle sweater. I will never let him forget that.
Oh, no, that was first interview. Final, he didn't go with the Argyle, I don't think. Did he?
Oh, he had the Argyle.
Those of you that know Brett, you'll have to ask about the Argyle. Yeah. He has had his Argyle fairway and green sweater forever. He loves it.
I heard that Corey sort of saw him leaving for the interview and was like, "Are you nuts? They're not going to like that." And he said he went to Starbucks on the way, and the barista was like, "Looking good, man." And he's like, "All right, I've no offense to Corey, but I'm going with that point of view." I'm sure he'd tell it way better because he lived it, but yeah, he did a phenomenal job. And I think one of the things, again, that is really important, and I think you showed it, is that Joel was already there. Rich was already there. You had some really good team members there, but the golf department was in the transition there when you arrived, and you hired great people. And I think some great advice that I was trying to give people is when you're in that role, your hires really matter.
Oh,
at the end of the day, you're going to, if you hire the wrong person, you're going to still sometimes have blind spots for that person because you hired him. Yeah. And you can go down with that person. So it's really important to hire well.
You got to hire well.
Do that with Brett, for sure.
Big time. I'm so fortunate to work with him, and he's taught me a lot too. I mean, talk about it. He has taught me that patience is okay. So many times in our industry, we feel like we got to have an answer immediately. And Brett is not one of those individuals. Brett is one that's going to sit back. He's going to consume the information. He's going to make notes, and then he's going to think about it.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't deliberate very long, but he definitely deliberates. And then he'll come back and he's got a vision, and boom, off he goes. And he's a great professional. And just really, when I saw him, Brett, was that here's this individual that is fantastic at people and service and wanting to offer.
For him, for sure.
Yeah. and he was stuck in an office as a GM. Yeah. And I was like, no, we got to let this, it's like this falcon. We got to let release, and sure enough, the plan worked brilliantly. It was just like, we got him in and just go be you. Don't worry about it. I'll manage the financials. I'll figure out the other thing. Go be you. And to this, I mean, he's great at financial management.
Sure.
It wasn't the thing I was going to be all over about. My whole thing was just go create amazing experiences. Mm-hmm. And I view my job as a general manager is to go fight for those amazing experiences, because there's going to be times where he would come in and be like, hey, I want to do this. And my job is to go to the board and go to the golf committee and guys, we need to do this. This is great, and fight that fight for him. So that way he could continue to be inventive and creative. And sometimes it's hard when you get told no to be creative. And so I always view that's my role, is to go in and get told no. And then I'll find another way and keep telling you to be creative. And Brett's just been able to do an amazing job. The other one that I think Brett aligns with big time with me is mentorship. It's a passion of ours. And we started tuition reimbursement here at TCGC. And I think that's one of the best things. If I look back on it 20 years from now of something that I'm proud of at TCGC, is that we're going to groom assistant golf professionals for the future, and we're going to pay for their books. And the membership's bought into it. They've seen what it's done. They see the service they're getting because of that. And I'm excited that burden doesn't fall on somebody that's not making a lot of money to be able to get through their PGA, and then come here at TCGC and the club's going to fully wrap their arms around them and say, let's get you through this program so you can go off and spread your wings like your son and go be a head golf professional. And you know what, you're going to remember TCGC in some ways, and we hope it's good memories, and it's just going to make us all better. And it's a cool culture to be around.
I think proud of it. Mason's, since you mentioned Mason's luckier than most, I think, and he knows it, because he's got a lot of Jim Murphys in his life. And I'm not saying I'm one of those, honestly. I'm not considering myself one of those.
And I don't want to be one of those either.
I don't mean that. I'm just saying I don't put myself in that category. I'm his dad. But certainly with Brett will be he's a Jim Murphy in Mason's life. So, and the thing that I will say, another thing too, I remember going through that experience when you led, when you and I were teammates sort of in the hiring of Brett, and it was pretty cool. Another thing, somebody on the committee, the question was, what does a 5-star member experience look like? And it may have been Brett, may have been one of the other candidates who kind of said, well, what do you think it looks like? And I remember hearing one of the committee members, may have been Brazier, who said, we don't really know what that looks like here. We don't know what it can look like. So we're open to that idea. So we just, tell us what you think it should be. Like, don't. And I always remember thinking that was sort of good governance. That was a good example of, we're not going to. And I think what he actually said was, we've seen what we believe is good experience somewhere else, but never actually the way it could be here. And I remember looking over at you, around the table and going, huh, pretty cool. And it's been really cool to see, that develop. And also another thing too, is that you're still, even though you're a general manager, you're still a golf-centric golf professional. Like you
totally.
playing some pro-ams and in the member guest and in the pro member, you
travel with members.
You're very visible and you do that. And I think it's actually makes so much sense because it's as great of a job as food and beverage has done. And Carter's another really good hire.
Oh, great hire.
Unbelievable hire.
The whole team here. Carter's the chef, Teresa.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten to meet your chef. I haven't got to meet Reece, but I have interacted with Carter, and amazingly, that guy always knows who I am, which is just mind-boggling to me because I'm just a stiff, rolls in every once in a while, and he just remembers me, and he has that gift, and so again, hiring well, but at the end of the day, even as great a job as they do in that grand old building, which is charming. It's challenging, I'm sure, but it's charming most of the time. But at the end of the day, people are there to play golf.
Yeah. And golf's a big driver for sure.
Yeah. It's been great to hang out with a lot of the members at TCGC. So it's always a joy to talk to.
Yeah. The other thing I'd say in our industry, I think that golf professionals need to continue to think about is being GMs. And the reason I say that is that being a GM is different. You're not the most loved person on property, but you can build those relationships. And that's what's so key to being a GM, I think, in a lot of ways, is building relationships with people. And you can do that through golf still. And then most of your decision makers at a club that are voting members are golfers.
Yeah.
So why do we have all these food and beverage people that are wanting to be GMs when really I'm just passionate about PGA members should be GMs. Yeah. They're great at it. And they can really move the needle and do those types of things. So
I've always thought too, I would, having been a GM, not at a place like Tacoma, but having been a GM, if you, unfortunately for the people who are F&B centric, they're almost default to the complaint manager, as opposed to, you handle complaints, but at the same time, you also handle, at the end of the day, I can help you play better golf.
Yeah, of course.
I can help you hit more good shots, fewer bad shots. I can help you make friends, because I'm as connected as you are as a member, as opposed to a lot of general managers. Unfortunately, too, they also like to put a couple doors between them and the member or the guest.
Well, and I think that I would say that to any young professional getting into this industry too, is just don't be afraid of it. Early on, walk into that fire. And the more you walk into that fire, the more you're going to learn how to deal with the fire and manage the fire. But it will be respected more than running from it. And it's just, I look at that even through the process of interviews or other things. If you're that guy or gal that just go, oh no, there's some, I gotta, and it's no, you just got to go run into that thing and just face it head on. And and then at the end of the day, you can agree to disagree with a member and move on. And we're all human beings. So.
And with authenticity and professionalism,
totally.
You have that. Yeah, you're sort of that. I know that's another thing you learned from Jim, is that you're authentically yourself, but you're always sort of at the upper, better end of yourself. The sort of the most professional, the person who's most respectful and also respectable. So my last question for you, kind of going forward. Obviously, we've talked about you moving to El Caballero. What's exciting about moving down there besides maybe better weather this time of year?
It's a great club, great golf course, Robert Trent Jones golf course. Excited about that. Excited to host a LPGA tour event in April. Yeah. So getting back into that realm.
Feels like tomorrow, probably.
Yeah. So 2026 April, I got an LPGA event coming. And then just excited to meet and one thing that drew me to El Cab was the membership and their values that they stress. It's a really unique club in regards to they require philanthropy in the community. That resonated a lot with me, of that they really want to leave this earth a little bit better than they got it. And that's something I want to be a part of, an organization that does that. It's not saying Tacoma doesn't do that, but it was just it was a unique twist, right, and a core value. They really believe in some family, and once again, Tacoma does that too. They're great on that side, but this is a great opportunity to try to be a part of a great team at LCAB and try to continue to elevate and learn and put myself out there, and I like to be challenged, and feel like I can go to a place where I can give an impact and make a difference. And I think if everybody can go every day trying to think how they can make an impact and make it a little bit better, we're all going to be better. And so I think I have that opportunity at LCAB, and my wife's excited and family's to get south. The weather's going to be great. I'm not going to lie. I've been looking at it every day. Yeah. So 80 degrees this week down there. Sounds quite nice. I'm looking forward to playing some golf, meeting the membership, and trying to help where I can to continue to make LCAB the best place it can be. So,
yeah. My last sort of comment, I definitely appreciate the friendship that you and I have had, and working with me on the employment committee, and your impact there. I do hope that the San Diego chapter and Southern California section will get your impact as well, because you have a lot to offer. So in 2026, you'll be a little busy kind of getting your feet under you, but I hope that at some point sooner than later, you offer up yourself to be a mentor and leader in that section, in that chapter, because they'll be better for it.
Yeah. One thing I guess I would throw out there for everybody too, and it just meant a lot just because I'm going through it right now, and I wish I did it more, but is welcoming people to your chapter. I think that's a big deal. And when the announcement went out that I'm coming that way, to have other fellow general managers in the area and professionals reach out and just say, congratulations, welcome to SoCal. It means so much. And some of those little things that all of us get busy and we don't do. I'll be the first one to raise my hand. I'm not out there doing that on a normal basis. I wish I did now, because it felt so. And if we can just be a little bit better to each other and welcoming and those things, and it's just going to all make us a great organization, and it felt great. So I'm excited to join the SoCal world. I'm sad to say goodbye to this one, and I've said to many people up here that I've talked to, please reach out. I absolutely love my time here and would be willing to help anybody I can possibly help in this industry, because it's been so good to me. And if I can give it back in any way, I'm there.
Very good. You remind me of that last comment. Reminded me of another person who's great at that. He's not in our section anymore. He's down in Arizona's Southwest section, is David Cass. I'm sure he's one of those guys where I know for a fact one time somebody got a job that he really wanted, and he actually put a welcome card on that person's desk to welcome them.
There's another person. He texted me out of the blue the other day and just like, hey, pro, you heading south?
Phenomenal person. Yeah. So,
yeah. It's awesome. So,
yeah. So again, that's good stuff. I mean, love it.
Thank you for the time. And I hope all these relationships continue, because it's a small world out there.
I'm glad we could fit it in before you and Lynn get really busy. I obviously want to wish you the very best in your move with the girls and with Lynn. And I hope it's about as seamless and simple as it could possibly be, even though it's really hard to make that happen. But I hope it's as good as that can be.
Right now, I'm trying my best. I'm doing one thing for LCAB every day, thing for Tacoma every day, and one thing for my wife and my family every day. If I do those things every single day, I think it's going to be all right.